welcome to the David Goodman Reality and Truth Show. My name is Vanita Lambert. I am the host of this show, and this is my co-host, Dr. Sonji Phillips. Welcome back.
Hello, thank you.
You're welcome. She's here with us every single month to give us important, vital information on how to train our kids, whether, in my opinion, whether you have challenges or not. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to first mention that we also, I am CEO of Bryson Associates, and we do training, and we do it for children, but we also do it for adults as well, and workers, and executives and leadership. So yeah, we just kind of we want to support the people that support our individuals.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
So thank you for clearing that up. I think I was thinking that it was only for people with challenges. So, okay.
Oh, no, yeah.
Oh, good.
We've serviced group homes, foster care. We've done mental health. Anyone, just trying to help staff to generate a better quality of life for individuals. That's really what we want to do.
Full circle was my understanding. So,
circle.
Yes. So my understanding of, your training was that you would go in, and so when the children go to school, and I thought it was children too, but they do grow up.
No, but it is. We do a lot with children.
They do grow up. So when they go to school, all the teachers are trained. And then when they go to the hospital, doctor, they're all trained. But when they come home, the parents were not trained.
Right.
So that was my focus. But it's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than that.
Yeah, we do a lot with children. And then, of course, then adults as well, who may be living in group homes or may attend day hab programs, and and even seniors. So we've just got into contract with working with a seniors program, and it's just to help pretty much what we're doing is we're helping the people to help the people. And so we are kind of strategically planning how to organize a senior center so that the seniors get the best quality of life by attending, setting up programming, training staff, and so one of our topics that we do a lot of is emotional intelligence.
My favorite.
And the last time that we were here, I kind of threw that out there, and then, I don't think I gave a full explanation of what emotional intelligence was. So I don't want to just throw out terms as though everyone is sitting beside me and know exactly what I'm thinking. So I wanted to kind of come back and explain it a little more.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. That's perfect. And I was hoping you would do that because I didn't get the full gist of it.
Gotcha.
What it meant. And every time, we're on the show and we talk about a certain subject, I incorporate that in my life and, talk to my kids about it or find a way to use it. And if I don't have the full understanding, and how to use it. I mean, I feel like as a person, I'm very emotional, and I feel like I'm intelligent. But I don't know if I'm emotional intelligent.
Okay, and
so you know what I mean?
You are emotionally intelligent. You
and
have
just
a high
don't know
level
it.
of emotional intelligence. Absolutely, absolutely. So just to kind of explain what emotional intelligence is about, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually read the definition, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about it.
Okay.
So it is defined as emotional intelligence is most often defined as the ability to perceive, use, understand, manage, and handle emotions. People with high emotional intelligence can recognize both their own emotions and those of others. They can use emotional information to guide thinking and behavior, discern between different feelings, and label them appropriately, and adjust emotions to adapt to environments. And this is something that I never do, but I didn't see where I identified the source of my definition. So I do apologize for that. I normally identify the source of all of my content. So I just want to kind of now break that down a little bit. And so emotional intelligence is our ability to perceive. So right now I can kind of see that a part of what I'm saying, you're not totally understanding what I'm saying. And so that is in part of my emotional intelligence, knowing that what I'm saying, how what I'm saying is affecting you, or how you're perceiving it, or how you're receiving it. And in doing so, I can now break this down to say, okay, this is what we're talking about. And emotional intelligence is my ability to communicate with you effectively, to communicate with you to build you up, and to help you to understand what I'm saying, and not only to understand, but how did you receive what I said? Because, you know, so often we're really big on being, what do we call, down to earth. We're down to earth, and, you know, I'm straight up. You know, but then how is the people that you're being down to earth with, how are they receiving it?
Exactly.
Are they being insulted by the words you're saying? Are they feeling intimidated by the words you're saying? And so it's important that you can kind of read the room. And so when you walk in the room and you walk in with your passions and who you are, how are you affecting those around you? So my emotional intelligence is my ability to kind of read the room. So I can come in and I can say certain words, and I know that you have received what I said, and I have empowered you. I haven't left you feeling empty when I walk out of the room.
Okay.
Have you ever had that experience when people talk, and by the time you know, your head is spinning and you're like, oh my God, was I insulted? Was I, you know, that was pretty aggressive of them.
Yeah, I have. And I'll tell you, now that you read the definition, now I can relate more. I am emotional intelligent, 100%. And the reason I know that I am, this example that you just gave, it reminds me of when I first started going into menopause. So I realized that I was out of character, yelling at my kids for like stupid little mediocre things, and it was getting to the point where I was kind of like, am I alienating my family? Is it them or is it me? So I started talking to them, and I realized just what you just said. I was making them feel bad. And I wasn't realizing that I was making them feel bad at that time. But when I did come to grips with it and understood what I was doing, I sat them down, and I talked to my kids, and they were little at the time. So this is like 15 years ago. They were teenagers, I guess. And I just explained to them, I said, listen, I am going through a stage in my life that I don't even understand. So I don't expect you to understand it. And I apologize for every yelling about things like that. And I told him, I said, and I can't promise you it's not going to happen again, but if it does, it's not you, it's me, and I will definitely make up for it and stuff. And, you know, and I started making things better. So I'm emotional intelligent. I just didn't know I was.
So I want to.
Is that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So, and with emotional intelligence is like your IQ, because it's a range.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about is you having high emotional intelligence. Yeah. And others may. Others may have lower emotional intelligence. So yeah, it's on a range just like the IQ is. And today, so many organizations find emotional intelligence as relevant as intelligence quotient. And the reason being is because you can get people in the job, intelligent people that are able to do the hard skills, the core competencies. You know, they can come in and they know how to fill out all of the paperwork. They know how to use Microsoft, all of the features. They know how to do these things, but they're unable to engage with others on the job. And that's the emotional intelligence piece of it. And organizations are looking these days 50-50, because not only do I need someone in here that is able to successfully perform the task and the skills in terms of the core skills, but I need someone in here that's not going to tear down my team.
Right. Right.
I need somebody that can engage with my audience and that can market and can sell and is personable. And so that part of it is your EQ, your emotional quotient. And so today we're finding that it's extremely relevant, and especially in the field that I'm working in, where I deal with the people that deal with individuals either with developmental disabilities or an underserved population of people. So it becomes extremely relevant because you don't want to, as a parent or as a worker, you don't want to employ a staff who now comes in and they make, you know, the people that they serve feel bad about themselves, or feel terrible about themselves. And it's not only about being the kindest of workers, but it's about having enough emotional intelligence to realize how what you're saying is affecting the person in front of you. So
well said. That I have a clear understanding of that right now.
Good. Good. Now, I want to give you some examples of working or workers, things that I don't think everyone give an understanding to today. We're in this season of the Great Resignation, right? So everybody, have you heard about the Great Resignation?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so and they're really attributing it to COVID and you know, and there are different factors. So I mean, I can kind of give my opinion. They've done some research to determine other factors of why we're experiencing the Great Resignation in this season. A large part of it has to do with COVID. It has to do with the fact that people were able to stay at home for long periods of time. It has to do with this new generation of kids, or now they're adults, that are coming into the workforce. And everyone has, not everyone, I never use the words everyone and no one, because it's immediately a lie, right? So many of our youth that are coming up, we're in this period because we're in the beginning of the 20s, you know, like 2000, 2020, 1980, where you see a lot of retiring going on, a lot of people retiring during this season. And so what generally happens is the next group of workers come in, but this new group of workers, they're not coming in and they're not going into the workforce. They don't have the same sort of energy or work ethics that the baby boomers had or my generation had. They are more, you know, they're more entrepreneurs, I want to say. More,
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, they're more entrepreneurs. So you see now more than ever, you see more LLCs and more companies than you've ever seen before, and they want to kind of DIY, do it themselves. And they want to sell products online. You can go anywhere online. You can find, if right now I say, my nail chipped, I can Google and there I can find 200 places where I can just find nail glue, and these are people in their homes that will go out and buy nail glue and ship it over to you.
Right.
You know, so there is an entrepreneur in so many of this new generation that's coming up. And then with the course, why am I not thinking about not the cost of living, but the base of salaries. I can't think of the word, but the base of salaries now being the same at McDonald's as it is at the social services organization, as it is at, you know, different large lot shipping and why do I need to go and work with this population of people when I can just work here at, you know, and I don't want to call any name. Well, you could
McDonald's
you can
or
work
Yale
at Amazon, or you can work at McDonald's. You can work at Burger King, and I make the same exact dollar as I would going and working with individuals, you know, underserved individuals. So it's an easy fix here that I'd rather go flip burgers and then be home by a certain time than to deal at this capacity. And guess what? Even greater than that, I can also go and do it myself. I can do Uber Eats or you know, I can deliver food. I can pick up passengers, and I can make equal amount of money as I would going and working each day. And then I have my own, I can build my own rules around how I work.
Exactly.
So now we're in a day. Now we're in a day where we have this Great Resignation that's going on, and it's hard to find workers. It is hard for organizations to find workers.
I believe the main reason for the Great Resignation is because people want security. When COVID hit, like you said, everybody went into survival mode. They had to survive, and so now. Like even what you said is so true. My oldest son just got his LLC for IT consulting, but he also works at Yale, so he has a backup plan. And people want to own and not work for somebody else. They want to work for if they're going to put in 16 hours a day, they want to build their own business, just like you. I'm not that ambitious, so, but I mean, I never wanted to start my own business like that. I'm a 1099 and I absolutely love what I do. I'll probably never retire. But I think that's why it's all about survival.
Right.
And another reason why I think there isn't enough workers is because all of the baby boomers, like you said, are retiring. This is now what they're retiring. But how did we get, and baby boomers is the biggest category of people. How did that happen? After World War II, all the men came home, and I don't think there was cable TV, so all they did was made babies. And back then, like my mother, my husband's mother, they had like 6, 8, 10, 12 kids. And so those families are boomers now, like us. Now we have 2.3 kids.
Right.
There will never be enough people to fill the jobs that we have.
Absolutely.
Because of that reason alone. And so I'm going to I'm going to pivot here a little bit. That's why, in my opinion, I think it's important that, we accept immigrants. We need people to fill the jobs and we don't have them. That's one of the reasons, I think. And I could be way off in left field, but you said it yourself.
Yeah,
the Great Resignation. We do not have the people. Where are they going to come from?
Right. And you just touched on something that will get even worse, because nowadays the kids, when we were younger or years ago, teenagers were having babies. You saw, and they, by 17, by 18, you saw that they had started having babies. But today you have 30-year-olds that's like, no, I need some more time before I settle down. It's not.
I'm one of them.
Yeah. People are not having kids
early.
Right. They're not having kids as early as they used to. And then when they're having kids, they're not having 7 and 8 kids. For the most part, we're seeing the numbers dwindle down to one child, in a household, two children in a household. And even myself, I agree, because we had my daughter, and that was a hard decision to have the second child. We were kind of like, this is going to be a big commitment. And there's a 7-year gap, because that's how long it took us to finally make the decision that we needed to have another child, because we didn't want my daughter to be alone, once we leave this earth.
Right.
So,
sorry to get off track.
No. We're reality show, right? This is what happens.
It is.
So, as it goes along with emotional intelligence, so now this is something that organizations are seeing the value in, and they have to build this up. They have to help the workers to understand what it is that they need to do. This is also something else that workers, and I want to say, when you go independently, this is something that if I am an Uber driver, or if I am I deliver food, or I go shopping for people, or things like that, this is not something that's extremely relevant for what I do. Having a high level of emotional intelligence. So not only do we find the value in this, and it's not just for working, but also for everyday life, because even amongst your family, someone has to be the one to say, you know what, it's okay, I'm not going to say this because it may hurt somebody's feeling in here. And when they don't say it, that's when you find those very involved Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners and events, because of the least value or the lower valued of the emotional intelligence of the people in the room. The good thing about emotional intelligence is you can develop it out with training and transparency. So that's a good thing. And so that's
That is really interesting.
Right. Unlike
it really
IQ, because generally where your IQ is, that's where you are.
That's where it is.
Right. But with emotional intelligence, you can actually develop it out. You can train people. So this is one of the things that we do a lot of for organizations. We go in and we help them to build up their emotional intelligence, helping people to be aware and aware of what they're saying, how they're saying, better ways to say it. How does this make someone else feel? Engaging, teamwork, things like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So one big part of it is self-awareness. So that number one is, how am I aware of myself and my presence in the room? Am I the person that every time I come in the room that I have to be seen by everybody in the room? We all know we have those friends. As soon as they get in the room, it is their show. Everything else is ended. This is their show. And they enter the room in that way, and they leave the room that way. And, you know, if that's what makes them happy, that's fine. But now, what is my presence and what influence do I have in the room? So if I come in and, you know, for the most part, we are atmosphere changers. We all have the ability to change the atmosphere in the room.
Just by walking into a room?
Just by walking in the room. And if you are a person that is that outgoing, extrovert personality, and so when you walk in the room, everybody immediately expects, oh, here's Vanita. We already know it is on. It is her show. It's her time. But then this time you walk in the room and you just, you know, now everybody's like, everything okay, Vanita?
Yeah.
Now you now have the power to bring down the tone of the room, to bring the atmosphere to a lower place because of your presence, because of your, you know, you have to be aware of your own presence in the room and what you draw and what you put out there. So you may know that I am the life of the party, but when you go into the party and you're no longer the life of it, it kind of changes the tone. You know, in that way of being an atmosphere changer, you're now changing the tone of the room because there was an expectation. Well, Vanita should be here soon, and when she get here, you already know it's on. We're going to have a good time. But when it doesn't happen, it can change the tone of the room. And so there's a sense of being aware of who you are, having a self-confidence, and being able to self-reflect. So
I'm going to try that on my husband because I'm always talking. I'm just going to go home and be real quiet and see what happens.
Yeah, and watch
which I never am quiet.
Watch how the room change, because he'll want to know, is everything okay? Is everything good? And then, as funny as it is, and if you do want to test this, do this. If you are the one that's always positive and energetic and happy and laughing and going around, and then when you come in and you're just subtle, you'll see that the entire room is now kind of like real subtle, and you may even hear him say, oh, I'm a little tired tonight. No, you're not. I just didn't motivate you. I just did, you know, because that's who I am. I have that ability to change the atmosphere in every room. And now that I'm not bringing that energy to the room, it feels a little, Okay, and so also in being able to manage ourselves. So now I'm able to use that same energy, all of that energy, that positiveness, I'm able to manage it in a way that I am not causing... I'm not causing you to feel any way different about yourself. I'm not allowing you to feel a little bit lower, and I'm not allowing you to feel as though you know something is wrong with you, or there are problems, or there are issues. That I am able to manage myself. I'm able to control the way that I'm reacting and responding to you. I'm able to also kind of assist you, to encourage you throughout it all. And I want to, because we've already gotten the sign that we are closing out, so I want to...
So wait a minute, going back to managing, where was the one that you had? There it is, self-management. So say, for example, I just had a really bad day, or just came from a funeral or something, and I walk into the room and I notice that somebody else, it looks like somebody else had a bad day. So I kind of tuck my feelings away and motivate them by making myself appear happier than I really am, just to motivate somebody else. Is that part of what this self-management is?
What I want to say is every one of us have a right to our time and our period. So in as much as there is an expectation that you will always be on, if you are, you know, because of your personality, there is an expectation from those around us that we will always be on. It is also understood during seasons or different periods that you may be going through something. Now, when we understand what you're going through, I think that's kind of totally understood. If no one knows what you're going through and you enter into a room, then people would be concerned. And then they may begin to speculate, like, she's probably upset because, or I don't know, I think she's mad because. But if there was a death in your family, then everybody understands what's happening right now. Yeah. And I also want to say with self-management, it's exactly what you just said, the ability to adapt and be resilient. So what you just said, can I tuck my feelings away and then go and help someone else, to encourage them? Because I may have lost my cousin, but that was her husband.
Okay.
So now I'm going to tuck away my feelings a little bit of how I feel about losing my cousin so that I can support my cousin-in-law through this. We do that all the time.
We do.
And that is definitely a sign of high emotional intelligence. Being able to kind of look beyond what you're feeling right now to support others. Absolutely.
Yep. And sometimes that makes you feel better. Helping others is rewarding, and it does make you feel better and make you forget about some of your own problems, I think, too.
Yeah, and that is kind of a spiritual thing that you know, that I've learned. You know, it's written that when you help others, it helps you. Yeah, it helps to take you out from your worries. You don't worry about yourself as much when you begin caring and taking care of others. So that is an absolute. That's something that, you know, that is believed philosophically and spiritually. It's something that is believed. Okay. And I'm sure he's going to come back out with like the number 1 or 2 up in it.
That's okay. We're
there
ready.
It is.
We're ready. We got time. We had 120 seconds. That's lots of time.
That's a lot of time. Okay, so social awareness, being empathetic towards others, which is exactly what you just said, being empathetic towards others, not wanting to hurt others, not wanting to see others hurt, ability to form connections with others. My ability, like, look at us, you know, how we met, you know, we were just 2 people in the same room at the same time, and now you're like one of my dearest friends.
Exactly.
You know, so, and it came about because of our ability to connect with others. And ability.
And that we're both, you know, emotionally intelligent.
We are both
highly emotionally intelligent.
And we just at the 1 minute mark. So we may have to finish this relationship management on another day, but this is just purely how to manage relationships and best ways. And this can be in and of itself its own. So maybe next month when I come in, we can just talk about relationships and how to manage them.
So do you have bullet points there?
Yes.
Okay, so
4 fundamental relationship components: to create, acknowledge, to mirror, and modulate.
Okay.
And I guess we can begin with that when we come back.
Yes. So we can do that next month. Thank you so much. Please, everyone, follow us on YouTube. Go to BrysonAssociates.com and get the free training in English on Mondays at 10 to 11:30, and then in Spanish on Wednesdays.
Yes, and we're also starting a series where we're going to teach things like emotional intelligence and workforce development training. So come on the website, look and see what trainings we have coming up, live instructor-led trainings. We look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you so much for joining us. This is the David Goodman Reality and Truth Show, and we're on your side.